Hello friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story about a horrible landlord who acted illegally. I hope our OP sues him. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. My landlord found out I'm schizophrenic and is evicting my family and I. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia as a teenager and am now in my mid-30s. I have my illness in check with medication, therapy, and psychiatry. I've always been very aggressive in controlling my mental illness to the best of my ability. I'm married with 2 children, stable income, and have never been late on rent. My family's been renting the same house for nearly 10 years now without issue. We started having trouble with the pipes, so I called the landlord. He told me he'd be by in a few hours while my husband and I were at work. When my oldest one got home from school yesterday, she grabbed the folder from my bedroom, medical paperwork I keep at home, had been reading it and left it on the kitchen table. Our landlord snooped through the paperwork and realized what it was. He called me, angry that I'd hidden such a huge risk factor from him, and told me he was evicting us. Sure enough, this morning I saw that he put a notice on our door giving us 30 days to vacate the property, and listed the reason for evicting us as lying on our applications for the place. To make matters worse, one of my neighbors with whom I'm good friends came and informed me when I got home from work today that the landlord had been warning everyone about the schizo and informed her he'd called CPS because people like me shouldn't have kids. He apparently called my husband's cell as well and let him know that I was hiding my illness from him and he needed to get himself and the kids out of the house and away from me. I have never hidden my illness from my husband. In fact, it was one of the things I warned him about very early in our relationship. And I'm very stressed over this, and it's barely been 24 hours. I wouldn't be surprised to hear if he called my work as well. My husband and I have already decided to move. We'd been saving up for a down payment on a house, and we're almost finished. I spoke with my mother this evening, and she's giving us the rest of what we need to save as a Christmas, anniversary, birthday gift for us both, so we're probably going to move into a small apartment and house hunt. My children can share a room for a few months. And our second story. Nice lady shuts me down. I've been listening to this subreddit for a while and realized I have a few stories that I can share here. This all happened pre-pandemic. Back in 2018 or 2017, I was spending a lot of time trying to balance my life between my business/work and just having time to exist. And my solution was to do the things that I loved and share them with friends or whoever wanted. One of the things I was doing a lot was practicing freediving as much as I could. My favorite spot to do so is at a place called Laguna Dudu. Look it up. It's actually a cool place to visit if you're ever in the Caribbean. I fell in love with that place years before after my first visit, which is a funny story, maybe for a different subreddit, and became friends with the administration and staff, to a point that I was just a regular, and everyone treated me not like a guest, but more like a friend that came by. On this visit, I got there early, had my tent all set up, and was just getting ready to do a couple of dives. It was so hot I had my wetsuit half on. When I see this, very excited, little girl and her kinda lost mom, I assume, looking where to go. Because I know the staff, I know they don't speak English, and the lady doesn't look like she knows any Spanish. This is paraphrased, so not quote-unquote. Nice lady equals NL, little girl equals LG, me equals the human telling the story, I guess. Me. Hi, English? NL. Oh, hi, yeah. Me. Awesome. You look a little lost. What are you looking for? Because the place is an open space, sometimes guests are looking for a bathroom, not knowing they just came from the only good place with a good bathroom. NL. I don't know, we got separated from my group because I wanted to see the place, but now I don't know where is what. Me. Oh, that's easy enough. Would you like a tour? I really love this place and I'm on my way down anyways. I lower myself down to the little girl's height. Me. Would you like to see the Taino cave? The little girl's eyes light up and she looks at her mom with that, Can we, mom? I look at the mom too and she just gives me a smile and a nod. A little context about the place. It was originally just empty land that the owners used to farm to keep their ostriches. With time, the owners saw the potential for tourism and adapted the place for visits, and they've been improving ever since. It's the only cenote-type lake divided by land, but still connected by underwater caverns, naturally, in the Caribbean. According to the owners, there's one in Mexico, but it's man-made. So when you come in and pass the ticket gazebo, you can only see grass, trees, a 20-meter cliff going up, a little rock wall, and a path that takes you to the bigger gathering area. Not knowing that past that little rock wall is a 10-meter drop to a beautiful water hole. To keep it short, we walked around. I gave them all the info that I had, like the one I just mentioned in the above paragraph, explained how and what to expect, and some recommendations from a regular on how to really enjoy the place, and ended up back at my tent. I forgot my flippers. NL, OMG, thank you so much for this. It was so helpful. She extends her hand to give me the equivalent of a US $20 bill in it. Me, looking at the money, a little confused. What is? It hits me. Oh, no, that's not necessary. I don't work here, ma'am. I just really love this place and don't mind sharing what I know. It's NL, you've been extremely nice to us. You deserve this, please. Me, no, it's okay. It was just me being me. It's not necessary. So we went back and forth like this for a little while until she gets this look on her face of, okay, you little brat, I'll show you. In a quick, decisive motion, she puts the money in my right hand, closes my hand in a fist, and without missing a beat or letting go of my hand, pulls a $100 bill from her pocket and says, NL, you either keep that or I'll give you this. She stares me down for a second, and I'm in shock. Then, in a proud manner, she goes, NL, that's what I thought. Proudly smiles, humps, and starts walking off. LG, bye. And just like that, I snap out of my shock thinking, did she just threaten me with more money? And it worked? And that's it, the only time I've ever been shut down by a person by threat of more money. To the nice lady at Doo-Doo, if you ever read this, well played. Well played. She would have felt bad for having wasted your time if she didn't get to give you something in return. Although people like her need to remember how nice it feels to get to talk about your interests with someone who appreciates it. And our next story. Putting up 15-plus foot trees to make my new backyard private. I just purchased a corner house in a nice neighborhood. Most of these houses don't have any kind of fencing, and it looks like one huge park-like setting in the backyards. The few that have fences are on the far side away from me. My house backs up to the side of a neighbor's house, and this house has a sunroom on their second floor which overlooks my backyard. My backyard is tiny compared to the regular backyards because it's just a side piece of land between the two houses, since I have a square lot with my house in the center versus the other houses with rectangular lots and their houses towards the front of their lot. When I saw the house and their sunroom when I looked into purchasing, I knew I'd need to put up trees or something to gain privacy along with the 6-foot privacy fence that I would get to contain my dogs and small child. Fast forward to moving in. I had the fence installed the day after I moved in. I had plans to get 15-foot arbor vitae installed down the length of the privacy fence, but the weather changed quickly between the time I bid on the house and the time I actually closed on it, so I'd have to wait until spring. Well, the day after I had the fence put in, the sunroom neighbor yelled out saying hi and welcoming me to the neighborhood, and also complimented me on the fence. I was playing with my anxious dogs and didn't want them barking and disturbing everyone if I stopped playing with them. All sounds bounce off the houses since there isn't much to stop the sound. Well, the very next day, the same neighbor posted pictures of my house/yard/fence, complaining about the fence and that they wish we had an HOA so people didn't do stuff like this. There are plenty of other fences just like mine that are in the neighborhood that can be seen from their sunroom, but the only difference is they can see directly into my yard and not the others because they're so far away. Well, this spring I'll be getting the 15-foot arbor vitae installed the length of my fence that's directly against their house, which will most likely block a lot of the sun at their house, but it'll also completely block their view of my yard, in which they can see everything. I've even seen other posts from this particular person stating that they're constantly watching out their window for wildlife and into others' yards. They have windows on 3 sides, so this will only block one side. Am I the a-hole for blocking their view and sunlight to not have nosy neighbors spying on me in my own yard? Update. So they're almost done with the fence line, and there's been no mention from the neighbor yet. Neighbor got a heads up in passing when we were talking about something else, and they thankfully didn't give any feedback about the upcoming line of trees. I do know that they're still paying attention to what goes on in my yard because they've asked me about certain things that aren't their concern on my property. And unfortunately, the height isn't going to block the view to my yard as much as I'd hoped. Yet. So maybe this time next year I'll have the coverage I'm looking for. And our last story. I'm an HOA president, so take down your sign. So my neighbor, brand new to the neighborhood, put up a campaign sign. Less than 24 hours, the president walked over and told him it needs to be removed and showed him a vague item in our CC&R, which is not the proper protocol for a violation. Unfortunately, he took it down. Knowing I served on the board and know my stuff, he asked me to take a look. Well, the president was referencing the bylaws, which is in the section about easements, not our R&R governing residents. I told him they're flat out wrong and this does not apply to lots. I told him he can put it back up. He even gave me a sign so I can put it up. I was ready to fight them hard on this. Come at me, bro. I emailed the board reminding them that they're incorrect. Well, a day later, they walked to his house with a letter from the lawyer basically saying, "We are in really hot water. Please forgive the oversight and pretty please don't sue us." When they were talking, he said that he went next door to ask me. She interrupted, "Well, I'm the president." And he says, "Well, my next door neighbor seems to know more than you." Our president has such a God complex and always puts our association in potential litigation. She's such a liability to our association. I'm pretty sure she never talked to the other board members before she told him to remove his sign, nor our association attorney. She thinks she's the landlord to everyone's property. Well, it was nice seeing them have to go over there and grovel to him. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.